Alright, kind of response video. Some British guy. Don't much like the British lately. A lot of British guys talking a lot of crap. And women. Semi-British anyway. Anyway, back on the animal rights, animal welfare kind of issues. And, you know, there's no separation here anymore. I mean, you know, the reaction videos are apparently nothing to do with the subject of the videos they're reacting to. And so everything's gotten kind of convoluted, so I will either make things worse or I'll make things better.
Been quite a few negative comments and PMs to my earlier video in which I endorsed Sarah Hon 6's video regarding the value of human life compared with that of an animal, and the role that anthropomorphic glasses play in humanity's compassion towards animals in many cases.
Yeah, well, look, it's not about the life issue. It's about the whole subject, all right? It's not just about whether or not something dies. It's about how it lives and what happens to it before it is killed. So you're going to bring up animal experimentation, and you know, obviously that's a welfare issue. It's not just a life and death issue. It's about what kind of trauma the animal's exposed to. And in the argument with the meat consumption, it's an animal welfare issue. I mean, it's not just about life and death. I mean, most animal rights people, I mean, even PETA isn't very upset about the death of animals. It's more upset about the harming of animals. Yeah, there's certainly people who take the life thing more seriously than others, but that really is a peripheral part of this subject. The main focus of most people's attention is the suffering the animals experience because of the human activity in question.
There's been a suggestion that somehow, because I value the life of a human being, and pretty much any human being, above that of a non-human animal.
Yeah, exactly. Now you're just rephrasing the question exactly like Sarah. He responds to a video about animals and how they're treated with some argument about, well, if there was a frog and a human being in a burning building, would I save the frog? I mean, that's not the fucking question. The question is human beings to indulge a food preference that's been demonstrated by millions of human beings who live on vegetarian diets to be non-necessary to their survival or even their health or even their own best interest. This is not a man versus animal issue in terms of life. It's about convenience for human beings. All right, and for you to say, well, just be straight, just be clear on the points you're making. Okay, if you're going to justify justify perpetuating it into the next generation, justify why human beings need to perpetuate that exploitation, and when it's not necessary, when it's not vital to survival. And then on the medical issue, those are much more complex issues. I still think we would substantially disagree on those issues, but it's a different fucking subject.
I'm somehow in favour of cruelty and mistreatment of animals. I think
well, look, if you're not against it, you're for it. That's kind of how it works. All right, you're either against it or you're for it. You're going to say you're walking on some kind of middle of the road thing. I don't think there's a middle of the road on that subject. All right, I mean, either it makes sense or it doesn't. Either you're justifying a food preference being worth, the unanesthetized castration of animals, the shoving of instruments up their whoozits and all kinds of bullshit that goes on to these animals to satisfy your stupid food preference, and then yes, I think somebody can legitimately say you're a cruel motherfucker.
I have to admit defeat on that line of reasoning because, quite honestly, I can't see how the former leads inevitably to the latter. There must be some critical step in the logical path that I just...
Yeah, well, the critical step is you just blew the whole issue to pieces because you keep saying it's something about some life struggle and it's either man or animal. Those are the two choices. Either man survives or animal survive. That's not the subject. It's not even close to the fucking subject. So maybe if you start referencing the subject, we can explain to you why you sound like you're justifying the tormenting of animals so you can basically just pick your teeth with their bones.
Can't see. There have also been some PMs and comments from people saying that they would choose the life of a non-human animal above that of a person. And I have to say that that's something I found both shockingly unexpected and repellent to the point of incredulity.
Oh, come on. So you can't imagine. So there's a rapist of a 12-year-old girl. He tortured her for 10 days, and then he killed her. A horrible way. So there's that human being is sitting there. And in the other seat, and the other electric chair, is a dog who ran into a burning building to save the disabled person it's been caring for 6 years. So those are the two things sitting in the fucking electric chair. And you're going to have some problem figuring out who to pull the switch on. I mean, come on. There's lots of human beings that suck. Okay? Who really just fucking suck. And we have a social contract that tells us we can't kill them. But we'd certainly, if there was no social contract, we know in an absolute sense, yes, they deserve to fucking die. Fuck them. Piece of shit. Alright? So if it wasn't for the social contract, they're useless pieces of shit. And you just, squash them and get them out of the way as humanely as possible, but just put them out, put them to sleep, get rid of them. Alright, and there's plenty of animals who deserve a high place, okay, because they love sincerely and they give generously, in the sense that they have a true passion to serve mankind.
For me, I think this topic probably has just about run its course. I can't think of much more that I can add to clarify my viewpoint.
Oh, I think you got to do a lot of clarifying. Sarah Hahn's video was incomprehensible nonsense, so if you support that, you got a lot of clarifying to do.
And once people have made up their minds and become emotionally attached to their point of view, it doesn't seem possible to have a meaningful debate on the subject any more easily than it's possible to debate with creationists.
Yeah, well, I'd say you're a fundamentalist Muslim in terms of your stone-headedness. So yeah, let's just throw that rhetoric back and forth at each other. How brick-brained are you? Well, I think your bricks have been cooking for 3,500 years. Oh, your bricks have been cooking for 500 years. Fuck you. That's not an argument of any kind. It's just crap.
So just before I abandon this thread, I have a question for those people who would judge the value of a non-human animal life to be greater than or equal to that of a human being.
Again, you're back to the same dumb, stupid subject that has nothing to do with the video that started all of this bullshit. And it is funny how this happens every time somebody makes a video just making a little bit of an argument to say, hey, let's think about the animals. Every time that fucking happens, it always gets perverted by you fuckers into some kind of idiotic, moronic debate about something that has nothing to do with the goddamn subject. And now you say the subject's over, but you're going to start asking questions. Well, that's just fucking brilliant.
And for those people who say that they disagree with the use of animals for medical testing. So this question is for that group of people and they alone. If your child was suffering from a severe chronic or terminal medical condition that could only be cured using the results of research performed by experimentation on animals, or that required an animal product such as, say, an organ or a tissue extract, which resulted in the death of the donor animal, would you accept that treatment for your child?
Yeah, well, why don't you just go right to the selfish human and just, ask the question to a selfish human. Let's not have an argument about what should be permitted in principle. Let's ask the question in the stupidest way possible. I mean, if there was 10 people, innocent people, who were in the way, and you needed to save your kid. I mean, I could do all kinds of thought experiments, right? Your kid is over there, and there's 10 innocent people in your way, and the only way to save your child is to run those fuckers over. Are you going to run them over? Or does it only have 3 of them? Or maybe there's only one in the way. So there's one in the way, there's one human in the way from you getting to save your daughter. I mean, come on, we know what people are going to emotionally do when it's their fucking child, you dumb fucking bastard. So why don't you stick to a real philosophical argument about what's right in principle, okay? And the principle is, let's talk about different animals also. We're talking about, for cosmetics, we'll pour shit into the eyes of bunny rabbits. All right, for cancer treatment, we'll inject primates with cancer. And then even the highest, the worst, the highest is the, we'll have some kind of antiviral this or that we'll inject into chimpanzees or gorillas or some kind of real human-y kind of animal. And so these are all the grades of these fucking questions, and here you just try to sum it all up in one fucking goddamn swoop, like, okay, let's just pile it all together and throw it into one question and say yes or no. That is just plain bullshit. If you're going to take the subject seriously, you really have to separate these fucking issues. It's a little bit fucking different, dissecting a frog is a little bit fucking different than, driving a screw through the testicle of a chimpanzee. They're really different things, you dumb fucker.